Michael Carter Williams is St. Andrew's School's Good Sport of the Week. And he is that because of his behavior on and off the court. Most recently, Michael Carter Williams gave up his starting position to fellow teammate Tom Garrick because Tom's father was actually visiting from out of the country. He does not live in the United States, and he rarely gets to see Tom play. Michael volunteered that his starting position be sacrificed for Tom, and this motivated the rest of his teammates to have more of a focused game towards Tom and to ensure that he had a memorable day for his dad's visit. So thank you, Michael.
Hello, my name is Daniel Gum, and I am the athletic director here at St. Andrew's School. In recent years, sportsmanship issues have been a problem around the country. St. Andrew's School is not immune to these problems. Though we pride ourselves of having some of the best young people the school could ask for, our community is not different from other schools around the country. We are also faced with issues of unsportsmanlike conduct, which requires an extra level of attention from the community as a whole. We find it vitally important to adhere to the code of conduct that we have put in place, and we encourage that our community supports the requirements and changes we are making. Please understand that any changes we are making is to ensure a better environment for our student athletes and the overall St. Andrews community. I would like to address you all about the code of conduct that we will put in place here at St. Andrews School. It is important that we identify what sportsmanship is to our community, not only to our coaches and our players, but the community as a whole. We want to enforce a sense of ethics in regards to sportsmanship during events, as well as an internal integrity for all those involved. We find these to be important and linked here at St. Andrew's School. Educating our community, especially our student body, is crucial as far as sportsmanship is concerned. We want our athletes to think of images such as these that you see in front of you when they think of sportsmanship. Players assisting one another during contests, as well as post-game handshakes, which we firmly honor here at St. Andrew's School. These are fantastic symbols of what sportsmanship should be. On the other hand, images such as these, the pictures that you see in front of you, are heavily discouraged among the St. Andrew's School community. Obviously, we do not want our students idolizing poor sportsmanship, whether it's professional, collegiate, or among the interscholastic sports. Violence or trash talking will be vastly prohibited among our community. One strategy that will be valuable will be using examples of good sportsmanship around the sports world. We believe providing examples to idolize will be an excellent way to promote sportsmanship. One example that comes to mind is this incident that occurred in 2008 when Sarah Tronosky, a softball player of Western Oregon, hit a home run during a game with two men on base, which happened to be her first home run in both high school and college. Tragically, though, as she rounded first base, her knee gave out and she collapsed. The coach asked for a pinch runner so they can complete the home run. However, the umpire said that if a pinch runner were to come in for Sarah, it would only count out as a single. Now, it was at this time when Mallory Haltman and Liz Wallace, both players on the opposing team of Central Washington, lifted Sarah up and carried her around the bases, thus providing her with her home run. This is an unbelievable example of sportsmanship and something that we want our students to model after. By expressing different examples of good sportsmanship, we hope that they too will want to model that behavior. Additionally, we would be providing students with, additionally to providing students with good sportsmanship, I believe it is equally as important to provide them with bad sportsmanship, so they have an idea what a poor sportsman-like behavior would be. One example came out of in 2011 in Ohio, where a football player on the Washington Courthouse High School football team stuck tacks in his gloves, and when they were going for the post-game handshake, this particular player pricked 27 McLean High School players during the post-game handshake. Obviously, this is a terrible example of sportsmanship, but it is a perfect example of how not to act. By demonstrating this behavior to our students, we hope that they will avoid such embarrassing press for our school. St. Andrew's School is part of NEPSAC, which is the New England Private School Athletic Council. And we follow their policies as a school, as well as their code of ethics. On their website, the NEPSAC provides all the high schools involved with the guidelines that every school must adhere and is expected to adhere. And additionally, they provide a good definition for proper conduct. Their code of conduct first starts with mutual respect. They expect that everybody would treat other persons as you know they should be treated, and as you wish them to fairly treat you. You have to follow the rules. So regard the rules of your game as agreements, the spirit or letter of which you should not evade or break. Treat officials and opponents with the utmost respect. Accept the final decisions maturely, so accept absolutely and without quarrel the final decision of any official game. Honoring visiting teams and spectators as your own guests, and treat them as such. Likewise, yourself behave as an honored guest when you visit another school. Be gracious in victory and defeat. Learn especially to take defeat well. This is definitely something that we honor teaching our students here at St. Andrew's School. Be as cooperative as you are competitive. And remember that your actions on and off the field reflect on you and your school. We try to have our students remember that whenever they are out there at a game, they are representing St. Andrew's School. The new code of conduct breaks down into a few parts that explains the expectations of all moderators. First, as the athletic director, I thought it would be important to identify the role of the AD as far as sportsmanship is concerned. It is extremely important to promote good sportsmanship. Good sportsmanship is the trademark of St. Andrew's School. Be a presence at all events and make sure that everyone visually sees the AD and understands that our sportsmanship policies will consistently be enforced. Enforce all policies. This is important to follow up with the policy themselves, because if the stakeholders do not feel that the policies are being upheld, then they will not be seen as seriously. Ensure that all moderators understand the guidelines provided by the St. Andrews Athletics. This is important to confirm that they know why these guidelines are put in place and what they mean for our community. Provide training and professional development. Alright, this is required out of our coaching staff. However, parents and players will also have the opportunity to learn and understand what sportsmanship is. And the most important part of our new policy is communication. And you'll see this throughout all of the stakeholders, that communication is extremely important. Another group that will be included in the policy will be the coaches themselves. It is important to understand that interscholastics is for athletes and not for the coaches. Everything that we as coaches do is for the benefit of those student athletes. Be an educator. Athletics is an extension of the classroom, and we expect our coaches to teach the players about game skills and strategies, but also life lessons. We firmly believe here at St. Andrew's School that life lessons can be absorbed in sports. Lead by example along with being good role models. Alright, we desire our coaches to adhere to those expectations. Encourage proper conduct at all times, along with creating team rules. However, these team rules must reflect the St. Andrews and NEPSAC Code of Conduct. The coaches are representing St. Andrews Schools at all times. They must remember that when they're in games and also in practices. And above all, communication. It is essential for the coaches to provide good communication to all those involved. This code obviously extends to the players themselves. It is very important for the players to fully understand what their expectations are. Like, treat teammates with respect. Treat opponents with respect. Treat officials with respect. And treat coaches with respect. I hope it is now becoming obvious that there is a consistent theme here at St. Andrew's School. Respect. Our students will firmly understand what respect is and how they must promote it if they want to be part of the program. Obviously, there is no violence during games or practices. All right, this rule will be strictly enforced by the athletic director as well as coaches and all other stakeholders. We also expect our students to be a positive representation of St. Andrew's School. Our students are our key representation, and we honor that the athletes represent this institution. The parents are another group that we would like to address in this code of conduct. All right. First, it is important for the parents to understand that athletics is a privilege. It is a privilege to the students as well as all those involved. We encourage that the parents respect the boundaries between themselves and the coaches. The coaching staff are here to teach our athletes, and we expect our parents to respect that boundary. We also encourage that the parents be a positive representation of St. Andrew's School community. The parents are an extension of this community, and we encourage them to observe proper conduct at all St. Andrew's School events. Additionally, our parents must show respect to officials, opponents, players, spectators, and coaches. Please respect team decisions. Many times throughout a season, coaches are forced to make tough choices. Not all those choices will be popular. However, parents need to understand that these decisions are put there by the coaches, and they need to respect the outcome. And like everything else, communication is important. We hope that parents honor the correct way to communicate with coaches as well as the athletic director. The last group that will be addressed are our spectators, which could include our students, faculty, and any other visitors. It is important that they understand what is expected out of them when they come to our events. Violence at any time will not be tolerated by the St. Andrew's School community. This extends to our students and faculty whenever they visit opposing schools. It will be the responsibility of our faculty and staff to assist in events to ensure that there is proper conduct being observed at all times, while also providing examples of how to behave at events. This will include that there will be no drugs or alcohol permitted at any St. Andrew's School event. This extends to our students at other schools, or faculty as well. We encourage that our spectators support our St. Andrew's School teams. However, please demonstrate respect for all opponents as well. Just because you're a spectator doesn't mean that you have to go against every other team, but make sure that you're just supporting our teams. Represent St. Andrew's School. Just like our parents, coaches, athletic director, and players, our spectators are a representation of our school, probably more so. Alright, so it's important that their behavior reflects the finest of St. Andrew's School. All personnel must be ready to intervene in situations where unsportsmanlike conduct is being practiced. Please be a representation. Consequences. The Code of Conduct addresses many groups. Violations of the code could result in a removal from the team or games. Repeated offenses could result in a suspension or possibly an expulsion from all St. Andrew's School events. These punishments are extended to all members of the St. Andrew's School community. All violations will be judged by the athletic director as well as the director of student life. The new task will be how all of the new rules will be communicated to all moderators involved. First, during Professional Week in August, all faculty and staff will be addressed regarding the new Code of Conduct. Copies of the code will be sent to all the families of St. Andrew's School attached with the beginning of the year packet. During the Introduction Week, the athletic director will read the Code of Conduct to the student body. In addition, the athletic director will hold meetings with the coaches at the beginning of each season, reminding them of the policies. And in addition, the athletic director will hold meetings with the coaches at the beginning of each season, reminding them of the policies and guidelines. Finally, at the beginning of each St. Andrew's School contest, there will be a prepared statement that promotes good sportsmanship amongst all involved. Thank you very much for listening to the St. Andrew's School Code of Conduct, and Go Saints!